All right, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, we are now entering the console section. I'll go ahead and just preface it with this. When it comes to consoles, I'm not the biggest fan. I'll be completely honest. Console is gonna run you a couple $100. Typically, in order to purchase one, especially like the newer consoles. It's hard to tell if they work or not, when you're picking them up. Unlike, let's say, a laptop or a phone, you can turn it on right there. A console, you typically have to plug it into a power source, so it can be harder to check if it's working. And even if you can turn it on, you might need a controller, you might need a game, you might need to sit down with the console and play with it for a little bit to really make sure it's working. And a lot of times when you buy consoles, it comes with controllers and games, which honestly is a great thing, because the more things you can get included in a bundle, typically the better for you. But the bad thing is you have to test all those things and make sure they work, make sure the discs aren't scratched or anything like that. So there's definitely money to be made in consoles, but I just want to preface by saying it's not one of my favorites. And the other thing is mainly just the sell through. Everything on this list basically has a very modest sell through. Everything I'm going to cover here is over 100%, but you're not going to see crazy sell through rates on consoles. Everyone has them, and also everyone wants them. So when you've got high supply and high demand, it kind of just equals out to an equilibrium. So neither here nor there. I think the last thing I want to say before we jump into the list is that with consoles, you see a lot of homogenization. It's a lot of the same brands, same companies. It's Nintendo, it's Xbox, it's Sony, and that's basically it. Unlike phones, you can, obviously it's Samsung and Apple, but you can still find, not HTC anymore, but you've got like Huawei. You did have neither here nor there. Anyways, let's just go into the list. So first console we're going to cover is PlayStation 2. Now I'm just going to say straightforward. So the PlayStation 1 and the PlayStation 3 did not make it on this list because they are under 100% sell-through rate. But I have seen them above 100% sell-through rate. So I'm not saying they're bad buys. They're just happen to be bad buys at this current moment where I'm recording the video. But if you're watching this video a month from now, I do recommend just giving it a quick search, seeing what the sell-through rate's looking like. Like I think I had mentioned in the last section, we're just getting past Christmas. So a lot of people have bought a lot of consoles during Christmas. So that kind of inflates the sell-through rate. But now we're starting to get back into normal selling habits and such, normal buying habits. So less are being bought, a lot more being listed, and that's what caused the sell-through rate to drop. So I don't have the PlayStation 1 and 3 on this list, but do your own research if you're watching this a few weeks or a few months from now. But what we are looking at is the PlayStation 2 currently. We do have 12,000 listed here and 15,000 sold, so over 100% sell-through rate. Like I mentioned, everything's going to be over 100% sell-through rate. Important thing when you're researching consoles is make sure you click video game consoles, and that way you're going to get only consoles, no games, no controllers, no memory cards, no none of that, no accessories. It's just going to give you consoles, and that's going to give you the most bare bones sell-through rate. If we just take a quick look at what the PS2s are selling for, it looks like if you're able to find a brand new one, those are selling for a lot. So definitely keep an eye out for that. But if you do have a used one, it's gonna sell for a little bit less. I think even these like ones going for $300 to $400 are still a little overpriced. I'm definitely not spending over $100 on a PlayStation 2, me personally. And we'll go ahead and jump to the PlayStation 4. Like I mentioned, we're not covering the PlayStation 3 because the sell-through rate is under 100%. So we're not going to be covering that in this video. But maybe next year we'll cover it. We'll see. We've got 20,000, over 100% sell-through rate, about like 140% sell-through rate if we're being precise. Same thing with any console. If you have an older console that's brand new, still in the box, it's always going to sell really, really, really well. So if you do happen to find one at a garage sale, a yard sale, Facebook Marketplace, whatnot, definitely take an eye at those. but we'll keep on scrolling down. Like I said, I think a lot of these are still inflated, but when it comes to PlayStation 4s, I'm really looking to spend like $100, $150 max. Like, I really feel like 200 would be pushing it. A lot of these are still brand new, so let's just go ahead and click used, see what we're looking at here. And a lot of these too are bundles, packages. They're coming with other items like controllers, games, etc. So that's really inflating the price. What we really want to see is just the consoles by themselves. This is a PlayStation 5. Don't know how that got in there. We're looking for the PlayStation 4. So here's a PlayStation 4 testing kit, pre-owned, sold for $372. Pre-owned, just a controller, sold for $439. So like I mentioned, I'm not looking to spend over $150 at max, so I can ideally sell it, worst case scenario, around like $250, $300. PlayStation 5, here we are. We got 7,600 listed, and we'll go ahead and check the solds. Over 10,000 listed, so pretty decent sell-through rate there. PlayStation 5s, I mean, they're still the most recent PlayStation console, so it's a little wishy-washy, in regards to finding them for a good price, but also competing with the people that are just going to go to Target or Best Buy or Walmart or online and just buy them brand new. You're also competing with those people, not only the people shopping on eBay as well. So, it can be a little harder to sell in my experience, but it's not something bad to look at for sure. Anyways, past the PlayStation consoles, we've got one last one. It's actually a handheld console. It's the PlayStation Portable, also known as the PSP. We've got 5,900 listed and 9,300 sold. So very, very good sell-through rate. It's about 160% sell-through rate. That should sell within 2 months or about 60 days. Looks like same thing with all the consoles. If you get one that's brand new, it's going to sell very, very, very well. And also if you have games to go with it or anything like that, that's going to help your sell-through. But if you just have the PSP by itself, this isn't something I'm looking to spend too much money on. I'm just going to skip the second page and jump straight to the third page. And this is what I want to see, like just the PSP by itself, selling for $266. Here's one selling for $269. Here's one selling for $250. So that's kind of giving you an idea of what it really should be selling for. And then, maybe like $100 max is probably what I'm looking to spend on a PSP. Really, probably not even that much, because there's plenty of people, I'm sure, they're digging through their garage or digging through their closet. They find a PSP and they're gonna list it on Facebook Marketplace for like $25 or $50. They don't really know how much it's worth, and honestly, nobody really wants a PSP anyways. I don't really know why a lot of people are still buying those, but it's their life, not me. Anyways, so the Nintendo NES, over 100% sell-through rate, real close to 150%. Same thing, if you got one that's brand new in the box, obviously it's gonna sell very, very, very well. And I think that's the main thing, is like keeping an eye open for the opportunities, just in case you do happen to find one that's in the box, which is going to be very rare. But it only takes one of those to really make your month or make your week or maybe even make your year. So it's still good to keep an eye out and be knowledgeable about these things, but like I mentioned before, consoles I'm not too huge into. But anyways, looks like the Nintendo, what are we at, the NES? The NES sells for probably like a good 300 consistently. With these older consoles, I'm really not looking to spend over $100, honestly. If someone's trying to get me to spend over $100, I'm just going on to the next opportunity, because you don't want to overinvest in something and then just have it sitting there, because you're looking to sell it for a profit. But you're too invested into it. You've already spent too much money purchasing the product, so it's forcing you to price it higher than what you would like to. But Nintendo DS, let's just go back real quick. We've got 1,800 listed, 30,000 sold, so a very good sell-through rate. We'll go ahead and hit condition as used, and it looks like actually the highest priced one is actually a used one, a McDonald's console, which is very interesting. So if you happen to find one of those McDonald's consoles, definitely keep an eye out for that. And you know, with any console, they typically come out with special editions. Typically when the console first comes out, they'll pair it up with like a really popular video game, or you know, anything like that, and have like a theme to it. So you see this one's a Pokemon edition, you see these ones are Zelda editions. You know, basically any edition of any console is typically going to sell for more than the basic edition. Sorry, I had to sneeze. Really trying to hold my sneeze in, guys. I'm really trying to hold it in. But any special edition console of any console is typically going to sell better than the regular console. But if you find a DS, regular DS, once again, I'm not trying to spend over $100 on these. Like, if you go into consoles with the expectation that you're not going to spend over $100, then basically any console you can make a profit on, because basically every single console I'm covering here can sell for at least 200, you know. So you know, do with that what you will. But for a Nintendo DS, like I said, I'm not looking to spend over $100. Also, real quick before we leave off of the DSs, you know, you got different kind of DSs. You know, I'm not too familiar with the DSs. I had a DS when I was growing up. You know, you've got like your 3DSs and your DS Lites and stuff like that. Stay away from the DS Lites. Those are the only ones I wouldn't recommend. And it's the same sort of philosophy when I was talking about the iPhones. Where I was telling you about, you know, you got iPhone 12 Pro Mini, iPhone 12, iPhone 12 Pro, and iPhone 12 Pro Max. So like the baseline is that iPhone 12. So you want to buy that and up. So iPhone 12, iPhone 12 Pro, iPhone 12 Pro Max. You never want to go below. So when it comes to like an iPhone 12, I'm really not looking to spend money on an iPhone 12 Pro or a 12 Mini. So same thing with the DSs, it's the same philosophy. The DS is here, you know, you got the 3DS and whatnot. I would see the DS Lite as under a DS. So the DS Lite I'm really not looking to buy. And it's for a simple reason. When people are looking to buy something, they very rarely do they want to buy the lowest model, the cheapest model. You know, you can look at anything, like even cars, for example. Like, people would rather you know, let's say someone makes like 50 grand a month and they want to go buy a car that's $40,000, and let's say it's like a you know, Acura or a Lexus or something like that. And it might already be outside of their price range already, but then they're still going to look at the next trim up. They're still going to want to put some options on it, because nobody wants something that's bare bones. The only time the people really want to spend something on bare bones is when the product is, at least for consoles, is when it's very expensive and it's brand new, and they're just looking for an entry. So they're just looking for an entry into the brand, into the model. But in the used market, in the resale market, in the secondhand market, those bare bones models, very rarely do they succeed when it comes to consoles or electronics, which actually, conversely, when it comes to vehicles, which I know we're not covering cars in this video, but just as a little piece of knowledge, those bare bones vehicles actually perform better in the secondhand market compared to the first-hand market, I guess you could say. Anyways, so let's go ahead and keep jumping on. So we got the Nintendo Switch. We got 14,000 listed and 25,000 sold. So same thing with the DS. I'm not too familiar with what it's called. Yeah, here it is, the Nintendo Switch Lite. So it's called the same thing, the DS Lite, the Switch Lite. The Switch Lite, I'm really not looking to I'm really not looking to get the Switch Lite. Honestly, it's the same thing, you know. Excuse me. Ooh, I got burps coming up, guys. The DS, or not the DS Lite, the Switch Lite, when it's brand new, the same thing. You know, you have people that aren't really into gaming, you know, but they want to switch. So okay, I'll go buy the Switch Lite, right? So because it's the cheapest model. But when you're on the used market, the secondhand market, everything you're buying for a discount because it's already used. So when you're already buying for a discount, that's more reason for someone to want to buy the higher end model, So there's not a lot of reason to really invest too much into a light. Now, if I was buying a Switch for myself, I would look at buying a light. Just because I understand the value of a dollar, and I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a businessman. If I can spend less money on the things that I consider fun, I can spend more money on the business stuff. So, I would probably entertain a light. But for someone that's just your regular old consumer, especially when they're buying on the secondhand market, they're looking to get something that's going to last them for a while, something that's going to give them entertainment and joy. Me personally, I get joy through, doing business, running my businesses, interacting with people, making a change in the world. That's just really the stuff that resonates with me. So when it comes to buying a Nintendo Switch, for example, I might not shell out for that high amount. But you also have to remember that you're not your consumer is your consumer. So a lot of times when you're selling product, any product or even a service, you have to recognize that you're not the person that's going to be paying for this service or this product. So try to put yourself in your consumer's shoes, try to understand what your consumer might want, and maybe not so much of what you want. Anyways, going into the Nintendo Switch, a lot of these are bundles, a lot of games, controllers, etc. Same thing, like I'm not looking to spend over $100 on a Switch. I'll be honest with you. None of these consoles I'm looking to spend over $100, just because you don't want it sitting in your inventory for too long. And also, there's 7 other categories that we cover in this video that I would recommend over the consoles. But consoles are still good. But anyways, Nintendo GameCube, still over 100% sell-through rate. Now, these are the ones where I may spend $100, I may not. It really just depends. Like, am I getting controllers with it? Am I getting games with it? Am I able to test it out and make sure it works? Sometimes when you buy like a console, the person will be nice enough to actually plug it in for you or shoot a video for you and just like, hey, take a video and show the console's working and just say my name in it so I know you took the video today. We can do stuff like that, and you can ensure everything's working. Then, maybe not. But anyways, Nintendo Wii, moving along here, we got 14,000 listed, and we'll go ahead and check the solds. We got 16,000 sold. Same thing, this is something I might not be looking to spend $100 on, but if I'm getting some games with it, I know with the Wii specifically, you can have the basic remote, but you can also have like the nunchucks. So if they're giving me like nunchucks with it, extra controllers, extra games, you saw a board right here, a Wii Fit board. So if they're including other stuff with it, I may be looking over $100 to purchase it, especially if it's brand new. But the Wii, in my opinion, is probably like the worst console on this list. I wouldn't pay too much attention to the Wii. The Wii U, on the other hand, is a little bit better. I recommend that over the Wii. You can see over 100% sell-through rate. It's about 130%. The Wii U, it's really easy to test. You can turn it on even if you meet somebody in public to purchase it secondhand. You can still turn it on. It's mobile, it's handheld, really easy to test and make sure it's working. So can't go really wrong with the Wii U. Plus, I feel like more people nowadays, at least in 2024, are probably playing Wii U's compared to a Wii. Actually, I don't. Maybe not. The Wii just did something crazy to the family landscape. Everybody loves turning on the Wii when it's like family game night. So maybe I'm wrong. But anyways, Super Nintendo, this is actually the first one on our list that's actually getting us a 200% sell-through rate, which is absolutely fantastic to see. With such an old console like this, very rarely will you find one's brand new. And if you find it for brand new, there's no way they're gonna sell it to you for a good amount worth flipping. So I wouldn't really worry about that. A lot of the NESs or SNESs you find are gonna be used, which is fine. As you can see, multiple examples of these selling for multiple $100s. So not a problem at all. But once again, I'm really not looking to spend over $100 on one of those. Gameboy Color, now this is one, it's a little less expensive. It's a handheld console. Hopefully my viewers are old enough to remember the Gameboy Colors, because I definitely remember growing up with these. I actually don't remember what color. Actually, I do remember. I had a purple one, and I also had I feel like I had a transparent one. I wonder if I can find a transparent one in here. Or maybe that was my Game Boy Advance that was transparent. Anyways, neither here nor there. We'll take a look here. Now these, I'm not looking to spend $100. I'm not even looking to spend like $50 on these, honestly. Like, I'm looking to spend like 20 bucks on a Game Boy, like any Game Boy. And I feel like most people would be happy to get rid of a Game Boy for like 20 bucks. So, you know, make of it what you will. I got 4100 listed for the Game Boy Advance SP. Keep in mind, this is the SP version. I do think the SP version sells better than the regular Game Boy Advance. As you can see, once again, brand new special edition. It's going to sell for more. But if you hit that used, just see how much it's selling for on a used. And keep in mind, you don't always have to sort by highest first. The other one I use is Ended Recently. And Ended Recently is kind of giving you like a live update of what's selling right now. So you can see this clip specifically, I'm filming it on February 1st, so I can see all the ones that are selling right now today. It's kind of giving me a vague idea of maybe how much I could sell an SP for. So just looking at these, I can tell it's anywhere from like 50 to 150 bucks. So like I said earlier, I'm looking to spend like 20 bucks, you know, max. Like anything more than that is probably pushing it. Original Xbox, we've got 2200, and it's so sad because what is it, Microsoft came out with the Xbox One, and I'm like, don't you already have an Xbox One? So now you gotta type in original Xbox. I feel like that's just what the name is now. But anyways, we'll go ahead and sort by use. By the way, over 100% sell-through rate on this. Of course. You know, these, a lot of people are buying these off of nostalgia. Look at this, Mountain Dew edition, $3.85. You know, if you can find a special edition of anything, typically it's always going to sell for a good amount. So literally anything, like if you can find a special edition toothbrush, like there's really like anything special edition, like typically is going to sell for more. So, you know, those are always typically good buys. Xbox 360, I actually don't really recommend these. You know, the sell-through rate is there. Let's just go ahead and sort it by Ended Recently and see how much they're selling for. You can see these, like, look, $13.50, and it came with a couple controllers and some cords, like 36 bucks. Like there really isn't a lot of profit margin here. The only time I'm really looking to entertain this is if it's coming with the extra controllers, extra games, or if it's a special edition, or, you know, fingers crossed it's brand new in box. Other than that, I'm really not interested in the Xbox 360. 8700 listed for the Xbox One, and no, this is not the original Xbox. This is actually the third Xbox. I hope I got that right. I'm pretty sure it's the third Xbox, what they call it in the Xbox One, so why not? And you can see they're selling for around 60 bucks to 120 bucks. You know, I'm really not looking to spend too much on these. If you want, like I said earlier, I'm really not a big console fan, but, you know, I'm here for the people. And just like how I said earlier, how you have to put yourself in your consumer's shoes. Remember that if you got 100 items on your eBay store, you're not buying a single one of those. Like every single 100 items, if they all get purchased, it's all going to be purchased from someone that's not you. So you got to put yourself in a position, put yourself in the understanding that someone else might be interested in it, even if you're not. So me putting myself in that position, still providing the information for you guys, even though me personally, I'm not a big fan of consoles, I'm still giving you guys the information, and I'm hoping that you guys can be successful with it. Xbox Series S, also one of those ones that actually barely hits that 200% sell-through rate. And if we take a look at what it's selling for, pre-owned, you know, we've got some good prices here if you do have some games with it. You know, I'm not looking to spend over 100 bucks. Let's just move on. Sega Master System, you know, this is a real old one, 300 listed, and just a little bit over 300 sold. It's like 125% sell-through rate. And if we're just looking at what ended recently, everything's selling for at least 3 digits. I don't know what this is. You know, when you're selling a really old console, it's gotta, like, I understand like an Xbox 360, maybe even an original Xbox just selling the console by itself. When you're selling a Sega Master System, like you gotta have some controllers with it. Like you gotta have some peripherals with it. It's gotta come with something because I can't just go to Target and just buy the stuff. You know what I mean? So lastly, we got the Sega Genesis 4,400 listed, and we'll check the solds. 4,800 sold. Now, if you ask me who's buying these Sega Genesis, I have no idea who's buying these, but all I know is that somebody's buying them. 4,300 to be specific, which actually I feel like that's very weird how it's 4,800 and then I sort it and it turns to 4,300. eBay, you tell me what's going on. I'm just using the website, you know, so you tell me what's going on. But now to hear, look, it changes again. But anyways, moving down, just seeing how much it sells for. If you get one that's in the box, looks like it could sell for about 500 to 600. But just like anything else, I'm not looking to buy anything for over $100. You know, that's when it comes to consoles, that's really where I max out at. So that's just me personally. But neither here nor there. Me personally, I'm glad to be finished with the console section. I'm not a big fan of the console section. What I'm more excited about is actually the home electronics section. You know, I'm just taking a quick peek at the list here. We've got some vacuums, like some smart vacuums, smart homes, some really cool stuff. So maybe some stuff that you may have never considered before, but stuff that people are buying. That's for sure. So we'll go ahead and cover home electronics in the next section, and I will see you guys there. Peace.